Welcome to another episode of Woke Up West Virginia, where I did not get my editing done on time, so I'm going to do this one-shot wonder um, in place of a real video, even though I have got 4 amazing videos coming up, and I've done 4 amazing videos, so in order to not lose momentum and to start doing these regularly, hopefully every other Wednesday, um, we're getting this video where I am going to talk about myself, my favorite subject, because I'm very interesting. Just ask my therapist. Um, yeah. There is liable to be more cussing in this video than any other just because I am not going back and editing it. Um, I had planned on doing a video on TMS because I am getting TMS treatments and I missed my appointment. That was going to be my uh because I want to get these, I want to do right by these episodes. So that was going to be like my quick, easy episode because I was just going to go in, talk while I got my treatment, maybe slice in a couple of facts and call it good. But I missed my appointment. They did get me in though, so that's good. Um, for those of you who don't know, and I'm doing an article. This is one of my few other projects. Like, I'm telling y'all, 2026 has been hard on everybody. I'm calling it the great crash out of 2026 because I had a whole bunch of projects and now the one that survived, um I will talk a little bit about it in a minute. But like, this is kind of the new project. This one, and I still kept my Substack, which is called Diary of a Discount Psychic. Um so that's a lot of information all at once. Let's get into it. First off, I do have some amazing videos coming up. I got a chance to talk to Britt from Appalachian Changemakers. I believe they just got their nonprofit status. And I kind of want to go back and find some of the videos that she's done, like her promotional videos from when she was running for office and all sorts of things. Very interesting person, still out there moving and shaking, walking the walk and talking the talk. And I could say that just about everybody on this podcast. Um, I got an episode coming out that is going to be about the West Virginia Faith Collective because it's kind of like it is an umbrella over a few projects. Um, and I talked to Reverend Jenny, who is the one that got me involved because I represent the pagan community. It's really funny because we have we have a few other pagans that help with projects, but like, I am the contact for the pagan community because I'm the president of Metro Valley Pagan Pride, and hopefully that's going to be West Virginia Pagan Pride. And it's actually a kind of it's a very neat project. If you are a spiritual person, then um the West Virginia Faith Collective is a great place to turn that spirituality into action. And if you are a nature-based faith system, that sort of thing, you know what I mean. You don't have to be a quote unquote pagan to be a part of Pagan Pride. At this point, I've defined paganism as anybody who's getting burnt at the stake with me. So, so come on down. We actually have a really cool event coming up, September 26th, Broom Not Vroom, Valley Park Hurricane. Um, the girls are cooking up a broom dance. I got a couple people working on a broom dance. And some amazing stuff. Some amazing stuff. So there's also you know what, y'all, we are working with what we got, and what we got is ADHD, which is why we're in this mess. Um why I'm in this mess. Nobody asked me to do this podcast. I took it upon myself, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But I kind of want to sandwich it in there because it's a little depressing. but ultimately, we are moving forward. Like, that's the thing about practical hope. It is not a denial of fact. A it is not a Pollyanna off a cliff. It is getting your hands dirty and getting some work done. And moving the needle, pushing for progress. So I also got another episode with SOAR, because SOAR, I did the one episode with Sarah where we talked a lot about like the UC and SOAR, but I got a chance to drop in on their packing for Save a Life Day, which I believe is September 24th, and basically they pack up all of these mutual aid supplies. Uh, yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to that episode. These are going to be some rich episodes, which is why I didn't want to slapdash them together. I would rather, if I'm going to give you bullshit, I want to give you a certain quality of bullshit, but I'm not going to I'm not going to half-ass the good episodes, and I've got like 4 of them coming up. I think this is honestly some of my best work that I've ever done as a podcaster. I had another podcast. I still haven't got through all the episodes. Okay, so yeah. Talked about Save a Life, talked about Brit, talked about West Virginia Faith Collective, and the big one, and honestly, this is part of why the episodes are late, because I had to take a day off after like shooting this one. I went to Gary, West Virginia and hung out with From Below while they passed out water. And they told me stories about how bad the water crisis has been, and it was pretty horrifying, honestly. It was pretty horrifying, and I want to make sure I do that episode justice. I want to make sure I do all these episodes justice, because these people are out here doing amazing things. And this podcast is kind of my contribution to that. A lot of these things that I'm promoting are nonprofits that run off of donations, or they run off of volunteer work, and a lot of times just a little bit of advertising goes a long way. Eventually I do want to monetize this and split the money with like um whoever I'm working with that month. I haven't exactly figured that out. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I do think I am probably going to do, I have a Substack that is not related to this podcast, that I'm taking pictures. I'm going to try and put some of my photography on there, and I'm also, the episode that was my slapdash episode, I had a plan. I had a plan to do a quick episode where I got a TMS treatment, because I have depression. um, oh my god. Okay, so here's the thing. I have stopped and started this little video so many times, I don't know what I've said and what I haven't. And between the stopping and starting videos and just rambling fast, I have absolutely no idea what I have said so far. This is why, if you're going to do this kind of episode, you really need an outline. And I had planned to like hold back a couple episodes, but then when I got a hold of the MadFest guys, like their event was like 2 or 3 weeks after that. So I'm like, well, I'm starting now. And I had it running for 4 episodes before I had one of these little crash outs. And now I've got 4 major episodes and a 5th one that I was supposed to get that treatment. I was going to record myself getting a TMS treatment and talking to the nurse practitioner about, just interesting facts, some of the stupid questions I've gotten about it. because I've been doing an article on my Substack called Diary of a Discount Psychic. Um, that's for me. That's for me. I may actually have like $1 a month subscription where I put some of my photography out. If that ever like takes off, that'll be great. Um but if you're interested in learning more about like TMS, which is a depression treatment, um I've kind of been trying to post my journey there in the spirit of being a mental health advocate and I don't know, doing something with the experience because it is it's an experience. I could have just journaled personally and hid it for myself, talked about it with my therapist, but no. No, I decided to put it on the internet. So, uh you can check that out at Diary of a Discount Psychic. Um I used to be a professional psychic till not that long ago. I'm calling it the crash out of 2026. I lost my part-time job. I shut down the psychic business just because it wasn't making enough money. Like uh you don't like I always did work from a deeply spiritual place. Any of the people that I associated with as a psychic worked from a deeply spiritual space. And I'm not saying you can't make money that way, but it just it just didn't work out. It was a small business. They rise and fall with the tide, and the tide is low. And that's just the long and short of it. It's not like I'm not gonna sit here and crap on the industry. There are certainly shisty people out there. There are definitely people out there who are taking your money and telling you whatever they can to get more of your money. There's also a lot of people out there who do psychic work from a deeply spiritual place. And that was the kind of crew that I ran with. For the most part, I associate with somebody I associated with a few people I don't associate with now, but that's the nature of the beast too. Um, actually really liked to help people with like cleanses and stuff. Like if somebody thought they were hexed or cursed, like it's not that complicated, folks. And I don't like usually here's the thing. When somebody is hexed or cursed, they come to you and tell you that's what's going on. And I didn't charge extra because I didn't have to do a lot of extra work unless it was something like really bizarre. Like house cleansings, if you got something going bump in the night, I was your girl. Person. I'm a non-binary person. I screwed up my own pronouns. I'm a non-binary person. I am a neurodivergent, mentally ill, non-binary, polypan pagan Pisces. Well, that's who I am. Who are you? Leave a comment. Um so uh along with like the my business, the part-time job, I also I don't run it. I am part of Metro Valley Pagan Pride. Um which is probably the only project that is going to survive the great crash out of 2026. I'm just really proud of it. You should come check us out. September 26th. Valley Park, Herc, and I'm pretty sure I said that already, but I'll probably say it again before the end of the episode. Um, why, like, I think everybody that I've interviewed has a deep-seated problem that they're trying to fix with the project they're working on, and I think West Virginia Pagan Pride, there are, like, problems in the spiritual community that need to be addressed, like, being able to come together really does help, uh, insulate the group against some of just the wilder stuff people do, like the little mini cults. You think about it, if you go down any road, you're gonna find like 5 churches. And the chances are that those churches split off because of some disagreement. And that is kind of the nature of any spiritual community. But with West Virginia Pagan Pride, that kind of gives people a place to connect without the expectations of following a specific religion. Yeah, there we go. That's probably a good way. I am suddenly very aware that either 5 people are going to hear this or 150, and I have no control over that. And I definitely want to, like, be careful about how much I talk, or not so much how much I talk about it, but what I say, because we have had protesters. Like, Broom Not Vroom is a family event, and we have experienced protesters because people don't like to see other people have a good time, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, you should check it out. So I talked about Diary of a Discount Psychic. I talked about Metro Valley. I want to talk a little bit about this podcast. Like, where are we going? What is the purpose? What is Practical Hope? Because that is what this is about. So back in 2023 is when I kind of started to get more and more active. When I started to like go to protests and become just more politically active. And that was because that's really when the anti-trans bills started to come up more and more. There was a lot of anti-trans push. And as a non-binary person, that is near and dear to my heart. I have friends, people I know, who have fled the state of West Virginia because their area was no longer safe for them. And I've had people who turned around and argued about that with me. I'm like, that's just, what? What do you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen? When you talk that much crap and start legislating against people, then that is creating a hostile environment for no good reason. I am going to change the subject because I can feel that just tirade of cuss words just being held back by a gossamer thread. But that's what got me involved. I actually did a really cool video on it called Speaking My Piece. That was the 2023 episode, and that's a big chunk of how West Virginia Pagan Pride came to be. I also did another one because I went to a lot of protests from about half a year, from like January to May in 2025, and I put all of them in an episode. I don't have any idea right now. Sitting here, I have absolutely no idea what I named that video, but it's on a channel called Madame Tortuga's Lounge, where I used to do a show called uh Shameless Self-Promotion, and I have no idea if I've talked about that here in this podcast episode yet or not, because I'm tired. But it was interesting, and I really think that this podcast is the best parts of that podcast. Rather than trying to, I don't know what I was really trying to do with that podcast. I know I was kind of trying to do an interview style podcast with other metaphysical professionals, but I kept doing things like I had Reverend Jenny on. She's one of the episodes I've got shot that I'm going to try and get out. She was on my first podcast. Like, if you're into the psychic world, then that's going to be a little off-putting. I think it went with the theme because ultimately I hope that in the great eye, when I am observed in my totality, I hope that the gods see that I have done my best to try and help as many people as possible. Um and that is the core of practical hope. Um if you got to see the episode with Dr. Smith, which most of you have not because it is a very low view rate, and that actually really kind of upset me because I don't know why YouTube decided to ratio that video, but I'm upset about it. If you're watching this one, you should definitely watch that one. But I got to see her speak at a conference or summit. I don't know what the difference is. But I got to see her speak, and she talked about joy as a restorative practice. That, you know, she's got a heck of a story. Um, the healing yourself before you can heal other people, the taking time to enjoy the life you're trying to fix. And I think that was kind of like the divine neon sign to move forward with this podcast. Um, because it's not the people out there doing, like, I probably will have people who go and help set up protests, but I'm not going to have a whole bunch of random protesters on here because they're out one day. I'm not looking for the people who are out there one day. I'm looking for the people who are out there every day. People who are out there doing, and not just like, and helping them promote those projects. Like, I do want to keep this kind of focused on the people doing stuff because I think it's important to hear how and why people are continuing to problem solve when the system has failed us. Um yeah. So I am going to be looking for new guests. So if there's anybody you would like to see on this podcast, you can give them the email, which is wokeupwv@gmail.com. So let's talk about why woke up. I think that I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but I realize that it's probably not. So I know we've all heard about woke and how, like, it basically has come to mean the opposite of whatever it is that I mean, it started off as a Leadbelly, an old jazz player who you should definitely know more about than what I'm going to tell you here because I would love to, like, that there's some really cool videos about him out there. You should go and check those out. But he told his audience to stay woke because people were getting hung. Specifically, black people were being hung. And I think we kind of know that's still going on. Um, so I don't know that it was ever a word that, like, the grand left, the bottom, um, ever used a whole lot. But just to tell somebody stay woke, it doesn't sound quite right in Appalachian dialect. It doesn't sound quite right with an Appalachian accent. But we tell people, we use the term woke up. I woke up yesterday. And there is sort of this awakening process when you start to get into like social justice work and you start to see how prevalent and things are, and you can't unsee it. Once you've woken up, once you're woke up, you can't get back to sleep. Yeah. So that's kind of where the title came from. Like, um, she woke up, he woke up, we all woke up to find that we need to work together, you know, and because that's a lot of these stories, people are finding some problem and fixing it, and it is, sometimes there's stories of like, it's been this way their whole life, and it is a slow, steady progress. A lot of people in this, they have like a an event that happens that causes them to wake up. Um, so that's why I woke up, because I'm just not afraid of the word woke and what it does naturally imply. I don't know why anybody would be afraid to be woken up, to woke up. Yeah, I'm y'all. I'm getting tired, and I am appalled to even imagine re-listening to this episode. So if you've made it this far, I appreciate the hell out of you. I just appreciate you so much. Please leave me a comment. Leave me a little green heart or a taco. I don't know why tacos. It just seems like the thing. If you've made it this far, um, definitely check out the episodes I've already got out. If you get a chance, and if you're looking for a giggle, and if you're interested in like the TMS journey, check out Diary of a Discount Psychic on Substack. Like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Okay, I think I have babbled on enough to satiate the algorithm. Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't talk about the logo. The little logo, the little man. So I'm naming the logo Ruben. I am naming him after my opa and my brother. Um, they were both factory workers. They were not they never were in the mines. They were factory workers. You realize that there was a lot of other industry in West Virginia that, yeah, there's other industry in West Virginia. um and like I'm tired. I am tired. But that reminds me that like that's family, that kind of it's our people. So that's why I named the logo Ruben. I'm babbling now. I'm sorry. I could edit this, but that would defeat the purpose of this episode. I should have done like some sort of mukbang or something with it. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I named the logo Ruben because it is a way to remind me that these are our family that we're working for, that we're trying to build this better future for. It ties me back to my home in a way. It is the little guy off the flag, the miner. if y'all look, he's he's got his pickaxe. I basically took an image of the flag, kind of blew it up and drew over it, and then I gave him a cheeky little look, kind of made a little bit more logo-y, I guess is the word. I don't know where words are. Words mean nothing right now. I need to quit. I need to go to bed. It is not even that late. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you for listening to another episode of Woke Up West Virginia. Oh, and he's got a little red bandana for the rednecks. I definitely want to do an episode on the Coal Mine Museum, Mine War Museum. Yeah, I'm gonna do better next time. But we got an episode out. That's the important part. We've fed the machine, so hopefully it will feed us. Um so watch out for the deer and look out for each other.